The presentation, What is a Plan to Achieve Self-Support Pass, is for professionals who work with people with disabilities. It is presented by Granite State Independent Living's Financial Planning and Benefit Services. What is a plan to achieve self-support? Pass. Pass is an SSI work rule to help a person with a disability reach their work goal. The end goal has to be in employment. A pass allows a person to set aside income besides their SSI cash benefit for a specified period of time so that they may pursue a work goal. It can be set aside to pay for education, vocational training, starting a business, many other purposes. How does a pass work? The person determines what training, education, items, services are needed to reach their work goal. They can include school and education costs, purchase of a car and transportation costs, computer equipment, tools, and many more items that will help them reach their work goal. Then how much is needed to be saved to reach these needs is determined. Then a plan is developed to support the specified needs. What are the requirements? The person has to be at least 15 years of age, be designed specifically for their goal. Their goal has to be reasonable and it has to be one they are capable of performing. They have to choose a time frame for their goal. It has to be within reason of what their goal is. Have income besides SSI to fund the plan, wages, SSDI, other unearned income. They have to make the plan and show how they will be utilizing the pass. So they have to spell out each step of how they're going to reach their work goal. The pass account has to be a separate bank account. A pass account is a savings account that is specified just for funds that are being used for the pass. The end goal of a pass has to be work and becoming more self-sufficient and less reliant on benefits. Is a person eligible for PASS if they receive SSDI? A person can be eligible to do a PASS if they receive SSDI. They just have to become or be eligible to receive SSI cash benefits. If a person receives just SSDI and is more than $741 per month, they will want to make sure they can afford to live off $741 per month. If a person receives just SSDI, they can do a PASS, but a PASS is an SSI work incentive, meaning they have to be eligible to receive at least $1 of a cash benefit. So you would want to sit down and go through a person's finances to see if they would be able to afford to live off $741 per month if they receive more than that in an SSDI cash benefit. It is possible. However, they have to make sure that there wouldn't be any financial hardship by doing a PASS. If a person receives both SSDI and SSI, they are the ideal PASS candidate as long as they have a work goal, because they can put aside their SSDI cash benefit and still receive the same amount of income per month. So if they are what they call concurrent, receive both SSDI and SSI, they are able to save and still receive the same amount of money per month. What is a PASS account? A separate bank account developed to deposit the money being saved for the PASS. Any income that is set aside in a PASS account is not counted when a person's SSI eligibility or cash benefit is calculated. So any money in the PASS account is not income. Any money in a PASS account is not counted as income or resources for SSI and Medicaid and most other state benefits that may be received. So if you have a client who has a work goal and they want to save money, encourage a PASS account if it is a good idea for them. If they receive SSI and have other income or are concurrent or have a low enough SSDI cash benefit, because they can still get money per month through Social Security, and they'll still be eligible for Medicaid and maybe if they receive food stamps or other benefits. So they're actually not losing benefits. In some cases, they might become eligible for benefits they weren't just while they're doing the past, just to be able to afford their expenses. Now, when they have a PASS account and they're going to put money from their earnings into it, how does it count for SSDI? Any wages that a person has, even if half of it goes into a PASS, does count as earned income for SSDI. So that means if a person has gross earnings of $1,100, it would count as a trial work period, or it would count above substantial gain for activity for SSDI. So you have to be careful. If you have a client who's doing a PASS and is on SSDI as well, you have to be careful of what their gross earnings are, because they will still use the work rules for SSDI even when doing a PASS. So we do not want them to jeopardize their SSDI cash benefit, especially if they're putting it into a savings for the PASS. We don't want them to lose it because of their earnings. So you just have to make them aware of that situation. Okay. And you can learn more about those SSDI work rules in the SSDI presentation. What are the details of a work goal? The work goal must be specific and it must be reasonable for the person to achieve. If they are working with vocational rehabilitation and have an individualized plan for employment or assessment done, they can use that as their work goal. So if they're already working with VR and have a plan in place that has a determined work goal, they can use that for a PASS. In fact, Social Security likes to see people who are working with VR and have a plan, because it means they've sat down and thought about it and it would be reasonable. They accept those most of the time. The goal needs to be in writing using the Social Security approved form. It's called SSA 545BK. How do you make a plan? The form, the SSA 545BK, needs to be used to submit the PASS. The person's beginning and ending dates must be stated. The steps the person needs to take has to be included. They call these milestones. The last step must indicate how the person's work goal will be reached. The person will need to determine and include the cost of the expenses they need to reach their goal. So a specified amount of how much to be saved has to be determined while making the plan. What are allowable expenses? PASS lets a person set aside money for installment payments or down payments for things like a vehicle, computer, wheelchair, and equipment needed to reach the work goal. So you do not have to pay upfront for something. You can use the PASS to pay for things in a monthly basis. So if it's for a very expensive computer, you could pay $100 every month to be able to get the computer. You don't have to pay, say, $1,200 right up front for a computer. Okay? Expenses must be paid by the person. So if you aren't paying for it or reimbursing for it, then you can't include it in the PASS, because you can't save for something that you're not going to spend. Expenses must help the person reach the work goal. The expense must be reasonably priced. So say you're going for the computer has to be a reasonable price and has to be related to what your work goal is. Meaning, if you're going to be a graphic designer and you need a really good computer, you can justify that. But you're not going to get that really good computer if you're not going to be a graphic designer. You have to get a more reasonable computer. Okay? What is the process to submit a PASS? Once a person has completed their PASS, they will submit it to their local Social Security office. And then the local office will submit it to what they call the regional PASS cadre. PASS cadres are Social Security employees who are experts in PASS and whose job it is to handle all plans. So each region for Social Security has pass cadres who handle just passes. Okay? Pass cadre will then work directly with the person to make sure the plan is reasonable. They will let the person know if there needs to be any changes. They will approve or deny the plan. They will monitor and review all approved plans. When a person is applying, or once a person has an approved plan, this is who they will be working closely with. So if there's any questions, they need to make an amendment to the plan. There's any questions, concerns, issues whatsoever, they need to call the pass cadre. They are the experts. They know they can help. Okay. Can you make changes to the plan? If a person's pass is approved but they need to make changes, the plan can be amended at any time. For this, please be in contact with the designated pass cadre. Okay. If a goal can't be met or something needs to be changed for any reason, an amendment can be put in place. You just call the pass cadre and you can work it all together and it can be submitted. What happens after the completion of a pass? If a person is successful in completing a pass, they can always have another pass. Usually is for a different goal or a continuation of a goal. A continuation of a goal would be they went for their bachelor's, now they need to go for their master's. That's a continuation and can have a second pass for that reason. Please note the next few slides are pass examples. Please note that in these examples, the maximum that could be put into a pass is used and not what a person has to put into a pass. Each plan needs to be individualized. So if you have a client who wants to do a pass, these examples show the maximum you can put in. And the maximum does not need to be put in. Remember, they just need to be eligible for at least $1 of SSI. Okay. Pass example number 1. A person receives SSI and has earnings. If a person has earnings of $1,085 gross per month, they could put a maximum of $500 per month into the pass account. They would then be eligible to receive the maximum SSI cash benefit of $721 in 2014 per month. The person's financial outcome would then be $1,306 per month plus $500 in a pass savings account. The person would also continue to be eligible for other benefits they might receive. Pass example number 2. A person receives SSI and SSDI and does not have earnings. A person can put aside their entire SSDI cash benefit minus $20 and be eligible for the maximum SSI cash benefit of $721. They would end up getting the same amount per month. Financial outcome would be $741 per month plus have their SSDI amount in a pass savings account. A person receives SSI, SSDI, and has wages. A person can put aside their entire SSDI cash benefit minus $20, and if they receive $1,015 in earnings, they can put $475 of the earnings aside in this account and be eligible for the maximum SSI cash benefit of $721 per month. Their financial outcome would be $1,261 per month plus have their SSDI and $475 in a pass savings account. Pass example number 3. A person receives SSDI and does not have earnings. For example, if a person receives $750 and a monthly SSDI cash benefit, they can put aside $730 of it into a pass account and be eligible for the maximum SSI cash benefit of $721. Their financial outcome would be $741 per month plus have $730 in a pass account. A person receives SSDI and has earnings. For example, if a person receives $750 in an SSDI cash benefit and receives $1,015 in earnings, they can put aside $730 of the cash benefit and $475 of the earnings and be eligible for the maximum SSI cash benefit of $721. Their financial outcome would be $1,281 per month plus have $1,205 in a pass savings account. One more thing that you should know about for your clients. In individual development
www.communityloanfund.org administers the IDAs in New Hampshire. A person can have an IDA to save for schooling and can use it together with a PASS. A person has to have earnings to qualify, along with other eligibility requirements. Currently in New Hampshire, IDAs are offered for schooling and housing. There were other programs, but at this time there is no funding for them.
Want more information? Here's how you can get more information. You can view the rest of the videos to learn more. You can contact Granite State Independent Living for assistance. The Financial Planning and Benefit Services phone number is 877-809-7028. Website is www.gsil.org. The Financial Planning and Benefit Services email is benefits@gsil.org. You can visit the New Hampshire Work Incentive Resource Center for more resources at www.nhwirc.org. You can contact Social Security Administration and the Department of Health and Human Services for more details. Social Security's website is www.ssa.gov. Department of Health and Human Services website is www.dhhs.state.nh.us. If you are connected with an area agency, mental health center, or vocational rehabilitation, you can contact them for more information and assistance. Here are some PASS specific resources. Information on PASS. You can go to www.socialsecurity.gov/disability research /wi/pass.htm/passelements.htm. And you can go to www.socialsecurity.gov/pubs /11017.html. You can get information on Social Security's PASS cadres at www.socialsecurity.gov/disability research /wi/passcadre.htm. The Boston Region PASS cadres can be reached at 866-467-9731 or email at bo.ma.034.pass.cadre@ssa.gov. The PASS form SSA 545BK can be found at www.socialsecurity.gov/online/SSA-545.html.